DEI is something personal. So I identify as a mixed race person. My dad is black and my mom is white. And my brother, who was also black, had type 1 diabetes. And the care that he received was not as good as some of his white counterparts, because there may have been not patient-physician concordance, and he really needed somebody who was an advocate for him in the DEI space. And so DEI work isn't just something that I do on the side. It means something to me, and it means something to my family, because this is my lived experience, and it's really important for me to be able to tell that lived experience to my colleagues and to my patients to show that I really care about this work.
I feel that diversity, equity, and inclusion is often simplified down to just diversity, which I think most people have a pretty good understanding of. But really, I think that truly embracing DEI efforts comes down to ensuring that you have additional focus on the E and I, equity and inclusion of DEI. So that means that as a department, we need to strive not only to include people from varied backgrounds, but also to support them in regards to retention, promotion, mentorship, and overall success in their career.
There's many aspects of diversity, equity, and inclusion in medicine and other fields, and in its most basic sense, it means having people from different backgrounds, different thought processes, different walks of life, all coming together to provide their unique insight into something. So for us, it would be orthopedics. So it's very important to have people from different ethnic backgrounds, gender orientation backgrounds, different socioeconomic backgrounds, coming together and providing their own unique insight into what the best orthopedic care can be.
My DEI involvement really stems from the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis in May of 2020. That was a pivotal time in our city and across the country and across the world. And it was an experience for our city and for me that really revealed, and I'm embarrassed to say it because I was 27 years old at the time, but it revealed to me the deep disparities and structural racism which exist in our country, and which I was really not aware of necessarily before, and it was so explicitly exposed in that video and in the fallout, and it was devastating for our city and our country, and it was also incredibly revealing. And for me, it spurred me into wanting to get involved in this work and to wanting to be a part of a group of people who seek to create spaces and places and work environments and hospitals for patient care, since that's my day job, where everyone feels welcome, valued, and accepted. And so that's how I kind of found my way to DE&I, and I think it's been really important for patient care as well, because it's made me examine the reasons why patients may not come to clinic, or why there's barriers to optimal health treatment plans. So we all talk about the social determinants of health, but how many people, like myself, have lived and experienced the social determinants of health that we were taught in medical school firsthand? And so a big part of what I'm trying to learn myself and what I'm trying to do through the committee is to explore some of these things and start to think about how do we change medicine in our field, to start looking at why is maternal mortality higher for Black women? Why is the rate of amputations higher in Black patients? Why do Black patients have less access to arthroplasty? We have all these disparities inherent in outside of medicine, but also within medicine. And so it's been George Floyd and everything that has happened has been really pivotal for me personally, and I think I'm excited to be part of a committee that is working on these issues and is committed to these issues and trying to change things.
I'm just passionate about giving people opportunities to, or bringing about possibilities for people to have the same opportunities that everybody else has, regardless of their background, regardless of any parameter that defines them or others use to define them, but that they have the same opportunities that I do, or anybody else in my position has. That's what I'm passionate about. That's why I'm part of the DEI committee and efforts within our department, is that I want to feel like, on a personal level, I have opportunities, and I think that anybody else should have those same opportunities. I want to spend my time figuring out how to make sure that everybody else has the same opportunities.
So one of the ways that we work is we use a three-pronged approach. So I chair the faculty side of the DEI committee, and so I disseminate information to the faculty of the Department of Orthopedics. And then we have an administration side, which disseminates all of the same information to all of the administrative staff here at the Department of Orthopedics. And then we also have a resident approach, where one of our residents gets all of the information from new DEI initiatives and things that we're working on to all of our residents who are working within the department at the time.
One of the exciting things that our residency is doing and investing in is offering diversity scholarships and trying to recruit to make our program more diverse. And that's important because all of us have different backgrounds, stories, experiences, and we can provide such better care for patients when we are bringing things that we know and things that we've experienced to our care and our processes. And I look forward to the growth that we are working on and investing in right now.
I think that if we want to remain a specialty filled with the best and brightest, we need to ensure that all of the best medical students feel welcome and supported in our field. So in terms of applying these passions to my roles in the department, as a part of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, we have provided training on implicit bias to faculty, in particular those who are involved in the resident admissions process. We also instituted a quarterly healthcare disparities grand round series with topics such as racial disparities in arthroplasty, caring for refugee populations, transgender health. And additionally, as Associate Program Director of Mentorship and Leadership, I helped to institute a mentorship program for the residents. As a part of this process of matching residents with faculty as mentors, one of the questions that we have begun to ask is whether each resident feels that any aspect of their ideal mentor is unable to be met at U of M. So that could be somebody of the same race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, or even a niche subspecialty interest or career goal. I think that as a department, we have vast connections throughout the country and even internationally, and we want to be sure that all of our residents feel supported, so we can kind of tap into these resources outside of the department if we need to make sure that everybody has a mentor that they feel comfortable with.
So my passion within DEI lies within increasing medical student engagement, specifically, having gone through the medical school at the University of Minnesota and grown up in the Twin Cities, I feel like when people are interested in orthopedics and want to rotate here or engage in research, seeing diversity within the department will help them be more likely to engage. I think, there are some folks that might be turned off to orthopedics if they're not seeing part of themselves within the department. So, I think I wanted to see more of that when I was a student, and that's something that I want to definitely work on now that I'm in the department. And specifically, I'm ethnically Somali, and there's a very large population in the city of Somalis, but East Africans in general. And One thing I've noticed since I've come back to the school is I've seen more of people from that background, people like me, in the medical school, and I would like to see that reflected within the department itself. So I definitely plan to go to the school, engage students both in maybe shadowing me or doing research with me or talking to other people within the department, just to see that, you know, we're a very tight-knit group, but we're also extremely inclusive as well. And I think as the medical school has changed, I think the department will also reflect that as well.
Look at that. I mean, hopefully just on a daily basis, it's something that I am aware of and or thinking about, and making sure that those around me, regardless of, you know, their role within the health system, their role within the education system, their background, their training, that on a daily basis they are having the opportunities to succeed and do the things that they want to do on a daily basis. I think on a bigger picture, you know, there's more longitudinal efforts to make that possible for folks that, you know, it may not be as obviously possible, particularly those people from a minority group, whatever parameter it is that defines that minority group. You know, so I have done a number of efforts to reach out to students within medical school or even within the greater university who represent minority backgrounds, giving them opportunities to shadow, in some cases collaborating on research, seeking out programs that particularly support people from a minority background. I think that, you know, I have patients certainly who come from minority backgrounds, and in terms of my care for them and engagement with them, I am trying to, number one, see them as a human being no different than anybody else, but number two, also be sensitive to the fact that they may have experiences and or background that's different and shapes their perspective of the current situation, trying to be sensitive to that in order to help them, again, have the opportunities that I want them to have.
As I look to the future of DEI and orthopedics, I think it's really exciting to be able to see all of the new information that's coming out in publications and articles that tell us how important diversity, equity, and inclusion really are, not just toward the health of a department or the health of the medical school, but the health of the patients that we serve. One of the things that's really important is that we try to get our patient interactions as concordant as possible. So that means that if we can get more diversity from people of color, LGBTQIA+, women faculty within orthopedics, it helps with our patient outcomes. And there's a lot of new research to show that this concordance that we can get with our patients is really helpful, not only for our own satisfaction as clinicians, but for the patient satisfaction and for good patient outcomes. And so it's really interesting, and it's really exciting to see all of this new research that's coming out, especially within the field of orthopedics. It says when we get these milestones and we hit these benchmarks of concordance within our faculty and within our department, our patient outcomes are going to get better.